Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I stopped by Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana to borrow this 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X AEV. That's a mouthful. In fact, if you can send me a video of yourself saying that 5 times fast without getting tongue twisted, I'll send you a free Vehicle Visionary t-shirt. One way or another, we're going to take a look at this truck and answer the question, does it have the right features? And you talk about a load of features. There's a lot going on here. And I haven't taken the time to confirm this for myself because I was just told about this a few minutes ago, but from what I understand, if you order one of these AT4X trucks, you cannot option out the AEV editions. So I'm not sure that that's the case or not. That's what I was told. So the exterior color on this model is sterling metallic. It has an obsidian rush interior, and we'll take a closer look at everything. But one way or another, even aside from all of the additions of the AT4X AEV, you have a lot going on here with this truck. Let's dive in and see what it has. When it comes to exterior lighting, you will literally see LED everywhere you look. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. We've got the AT4X logo here, and that nice large GMC logo underneath that is going to be the front camera. And if you're wondering, what exactly is this? That's the front camera washer. Let me just give you a quick look at everything here as far as the front end goes. And tire and wheel size, we're going to have 275 on the width, a 70 series sidewall wrapped around those gloss black 18-inch wheels. We work our way up, we'll see what's under the hood, and we'll talk a little bit more about the numbers here shortly. The 6.2 liter V8, there's the badging for all of that. And the AT4X logo down there on the door, obviously going to be on both sides. And here's some more of that exterior LED lighting I was talking about that will make it so easy to see what's going on around you after dark, out on the trail, wherever you may be. Gloss black on these power adjustable side view mirrors, blind spot monitoring built in. They're also power folding. And what I'm going to do is push the button right there, and you'll see that there they go. And that is how easy that is to deal with. So a very simplistic system. Where that is concerned, we're also going to have the remote right here. The main thing that people seem to want to know about, that feature right there, remote start. And when you have the remote on your person, you can walk up and lock or unlock all 4 doors with the button right there. That's a good thing. You're also going to have the in-bed LED lighting. That's going to be facing forward, so that works really well in the dark. The cab light right there will help as well. We'll finish things off here with the LED tail lights. You can see you have GMC Sierra logos back here and the AT4X logo, and another light right here. This is the multi-pro tailgate, so quite a bit going on here. Let's just go ahead and run through what that is. You can use this area as a table. You can use it as a bed extender. There's actually 2 ways to use the bed extender. Now this does open as a conventional tailgate, as you can see. And here is the second bed extender option. If you need that, you can have something that butts up against that. That makes a difference where that is concerned. And we will also go ahead and drop that down, and it becomes a step. That makes things a lot easier. One thing that also helps, depending on who you are, you may or may not need that handle. I find that I don't necessarily need it for getting in. It just makes it easier to get back out, but you can do it without the handle as well. And you'll also have the kicker audio system here. As you can see, you're going to have those lights right there to shine down on everything you need to be able to see when it's dark. You can plug in your devices right here. Makes things very simple. But let's talk a little bit more about what the AT4X AEV has that makes it different. If you're curious, AEV stands for American Expanded Vehicles. And we'll start off with the 32.5 degree front angle approach, 11.2 inches of ground clearance, and a 23 degree departure and breakover angle. And you'll find the AEV stamped front and rear powder coated bumpers, And here's a quick look at the powder-coated rear bumper. And the one thing I like here is that you don't sacrifice the bumper steps. Still makes it very easy to get in and out, nice and deep, plenty of area to be sure-footed on both sides. Here on the front end, you will find the front recovery points that are cast heavy duty right here. That's what this is right here. You also have the ability to attach a winch if you so desire. By the way, there is no competitor that offers a front bumper that is capable of accepting the winch, as is this particular model. And even though it's a little hard to see, you do have the steel skid plates under the truck that will definitely help out with durability when out on the trail or whatever rugged environment you may take your truck out in. As I told you earlier, and you already saw, you know what's under the hood, the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. A plentiful 420 horsepower with 460 pounds-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And you're probably saying, well, what kind of MPGs does this truck get, at least based on what GMC tells us? Well, here we go on the window sticker. 14 city, 17 highway, 15 combined, and 6.7 gallons of gas is what GMC says you should use per every 100 miles driven. And while we talked about the functionality of the multi-pro tailgate, there was one thing I didn't show you earlier. We'll take a look at that real quick, and that is the fact that if you need to gain access to the bed, which can hold up to 1,290 pounds of payload, notice what I just did right there. That gives me access deeper into the bed than it would be otherwise with a conventional style tailgate, because that gives me that area to kind of walk a little bit closer to everything that is here. You also have the power outlet right here. There are a total of 12 tie-down points, 3 in the front, 3 in the rear on both sides. And you had the bed liner as well. That's one thing at this price point. You better have a bed liner, right? And we could very well call this the most luxurious off-roading truck available today. It does have a lot of great features. It's very comfortable, high-end materials here that are durable at the same time. A comfortable armrest, plenty of space with the center console, and a few different configurations here as far as what you can do with these seats. You can raise this area up to expand cargo capacity into the back seating area here. That way, if you need to keep something dry when it's raining outside, well, and it'll fit in here, you can do that, obviously. But that's not all. You also have the in-seat storage right here. A lot of potentials with that on both sides, obviously. And you also have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. And being that this truck is likely to see a lot of time in the dirt, in the sand, in the snow, in the mud, you have the inserts right here. It's probably going to be easier for me to do this from this angle, but you can unsnap the inserts right here and just have the rubber floor mats. That way you don't get the carpeted portion all dirty. And one thing I do like here, while you do have a transmission tunnel, you can see that it's not very high up. Whoever ends up sitting in the middle seat of the back row here, likely to be a lot more comfortable than they would have been in years gone by when trucks had much higher transmission tunnels than they do now, at least this one. Rear seat pockets right here, more cup holders. I'll tell you what, there are cup holders everywhere. And the rear air conditioning vents with the heated seat functionality. That's where you're going to control that, or your rear seat passengers are, at least in your USB connectivity. Quite a bit going on here as far as that is concerned. You even have a very nice headliner here and the conventional style sunroof. I know a lot of people are saying they'd like to have a panoramic sunroof. Tell me what you think about that. And if you're saying, well, Tom, what do you think about that? Personally, I prefer to have no sunroof at all. And the reason for that, if you open it a few times, eventually the gasket is going to wear out and it's going to leak. I'd rather not have a sunroof, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And we'll start our look into the front seat area through the passenger side door. A very similar look and feel to what we saw with the rear doors. You will find the AT4X logo right here, the GMC logo with the floor mats. And again, we're going to have those inserts. If I can get my hand in there, I can get that out of there and show you how that works. Very simple to use. Heated and ventilated seats. For the driver and the passenger, they are also going to be power, as you would expect. There's that AT4X logo yet again, so that helps out with that. A little bit of storage here on the side of the center console, And then we have the upper and the lower gloveless glove boxes. They're called glove boxes, but I never find gloves in here. One day someone's gonna play a prank on me and put some in there if they have time, that's for sure. And we'll hop up here and take a look at what we have. You have several one-touch buttons to help out with a lot of different features and functionality with the truck. I think you know what's going on there. And a little bit of storage underneath that area. That's going to be helpful, as well as the USB connectivity. You can see right here, a couple of cup holders. And tell me what you think about the shifter. Would you rather have a column shifter up there instead of this shifter on the center console? Now, we do have a large center console. Speaking of that, kind of a multitasker because it's the center console lid and an armrest at the same time. And if you're wondering where the wireless charging pad is, this is where it is. So you just kind of insert your phone in there. You can do that with the lid closed down, as you can see. There you go. Makes that nice and simple. And quite a bit of space in here. You can remove the little tray right here. It's really not a little tray, it's a big tray. But it reveals a big amount of space, or let me be grammatically correct, a large amount of space. Yes, that's how you say that. But you have all of that space right there. You also have more connectivity, power outlet, and a couple more USB options. Tell you what, no shortage of space here, that's for sure. And for the most part, we're not going to see a lot of differences here on the driver's side door compared to what we saw on the passenger side. You did see the AT4X logo, but the biggest difference, obviously the controls for the mirrors and all the windows, all that good stuff. But you have seat memory right here. You're going to have 2 different settings for that. Would like to see that on the passenger side. At the price point of this truck, it just makes sense that it would be there. We're also going to have the power parking brake. You can control your driving modes here, as well as everything for the exterior lighting. Here are the controls for the head-up display. That is here. And the power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically. Here's how you're going to control that. You also have the controls on the rear of the steering wheel to control volume and stations with the radio, as well as your shifter paddles right there. And if you want to turn your high beams, your auto high beams on or off, here's how you're going to do that. Just push that button right there and that is taken care of. Now let's hop inside here. We'll close the door and get started with our interior tour. And as you can see, you've got some nice graphics that come up on both screens. Quite a bit going on there. Just wanted you to see what's there. But I tell you what, I'm in a rush to start things up so that I can turn on the ventilated seat and turn on the air conditioner. Let's turn that down a little bit just so we don't blow you away with the fan speed. Now, you're going to have the nice modern looking instrument cluster here that you can fully change depending on what you want to do. In fact, let me go back there. You can change literally every aspect of the design of this instrument cluster, whether it's the gauges or the units or speed warning or whatever the case is. The area down there on the bottom, you saw that earlier. Let me go back up real fast and we'll find that. There we go. The lower gauges. There's a lot going on here, the right and the left, and you can change all of that. So a very simple system to use, but just something that you might want to know about. Here are your steering wheel mounted controls, and there are those shifter paddles I was talking about earlier. Obviously, this is your blinker lever. Some of you do and don't know about that because I drive around you and I know that a lot of you don't know about that. Or maybe you just couldn't afford to option that into your vehicle. We're going to come back to that area in just a second. But I did want to show you what we have right here. This is the 13.4-inch infotainment screen. Very easy to use, very easy to learn. It has a nice modern look to it. But that doesn't mean it's difficult to learn or use. In fact, you have Google Assistant here. Everything is voice command based if you'd like for it to be, including navigation. I'm not going to demonstrate it because I don't want to set any devices off in your home. You do have your knob here for your radio. You can turn that on and off right there or adjust the volume. Pair your smartphone. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are here, and it's done wirelessly, so you don't have to have a USB cable to do that. But one thing I did want to show you right here. Remember earlier I showed you that front camera and the front camera washer. So here's what happens. You don't have to have the infotainment screen or the camera up on the infotainment screen for this to work. Every time you run your windshield washer fluid via this button right here to clean off your windshield, this also happens. You run the front camera washer. So in case you were curious about that, well, there you go. So there's your front view. Here's your rear view. A lot of these different cameras have front and rear views, as you can see. Very simple to use. There's a lot going on here, that's for sure, with this truck. I'm going to tell you what, you can even see into the bed. A couple of different views there. You also have your trajectory line right there if you want to use that. There's so much here. It's just amazing to see what GMC has done. If you haven't looked at one of these trucks in quite a while, well, you're probably going to be a bit surprised at what you see and what you don't see. What don't you see? Well, I don't know. Everything is here. Literally, everything is here. And you can go in and make a lot of changes to the settings. You've got all your trailering functionality and all that good stuff. You can go into vehicle right here. There's so much here that I'm not going to go through every single feature. But if you want to turn the rear seat reminder off or on, you can do that. You can turn the buckle to drive feature off if you want to. Everything is here. You have your different features and functionality with different safety features and all that good stuff. And I don't know that you can actually see the head-up display very well. I'm trying to see if I can get that adjusted where you can, make it as bright as possible, and you can go through quite a few different features as far as what's on the windshield, what it's projecting up there. A lot going on. And down here are the controls for your dual zone climate control. Depending on what you want to do, you can sync these together if you would like. You can also just set them separately if you want to, depending on your situation. So we'll go and change that, and we hit the sync button, they all sync together. And you can see that I have the ventilated seats on right now, but you also have heated seats. I can't even imagine using that right now because of this time of year being what it is. And there is so much more here. Obviously, this is a four-wheel drive truck, a very nice modern look, at least in my opinion, as far as the overall design of the interior goes. Changes as of 2022 to these Sierras in the 1500 range. And then we saw the same thing come for the HD trucks for 2024. But why don't we, well, before we get out on the road for our test drive, let me show you the rear view camera mirror. You have your conventional style mirror here, or you also have the rear view camera mirror. That has a lot of advantages. You can make adjustments to that, make a lot of changes there depending on what your situation is. All right, we're out on the road for our test drive. And for you keen-eyed observers, I'm curious to know, can you spot something that you used to not be able to do with these trucks that you can do now? And I'm not driving in off-road mode, I am driving in normal mode. So if you're curious about that, well, read the comments, because I guarantee you somebody is going to see it. Somebody's going to know what it is. So what's it like to drive this truck? Well, I'm driving on an extremely rough road. So if you listen, I'll let you listen for a few seconds. I'm hearing more wind noise than I am road noise, which is actually quite impressive for the size of the tires and just the truck in general. Overall, this truck is really pretty quiet on the road, and this road is terrible. Very much washboarded out, very rough, very difficult road to drive on as far as having a quiet ride quality. So to have it be as nice as it is, that really tells me a lot about how enjoyable this truck is to drive out on the road as far as the noise goes. Unfortunately, yeah, I wish I could get off-road and show you what it's like and how it performs and all that good stuff, but I don't know if Morgan Buick GMC would let me come back if I did that. Plus, we really don't have a really good place to do that around here anyway. But I'll tell you one thing, I have a lot of experience driving these trucks and having the 6.2 liter V8 under the hood, so I already know that the horsepower and the torque is more than enough. When you need to get down the road, get around slower moving traffic, drive up to the appropriate speed to merge in to traffic. Hint, hint, some of you Shreveport drivers and drivers everywhere, honestly, because you drive too slowly when you're merging onto the interstate. That's always frustrating. I'm sure a lot of you can back me up on that in the comments section. But overall, this truck really gets down the road with no problem. Getting up to speed, getting up to more speed than you might need, whatever the case is. And something I like here, not only with the spaciousness of the interior, it's kind of a multitasker of sorts, as I showed you earlier with what you can do with those rear seats. Not only the rear seat storage, or the seat back storage I should say, but also being able to fold the cushions up and out of the way. There's a lot going on here, but there's plenty of space for the driver and the passengers. And this truck definitely is easy to get around and maneuver around and do whatever you need to do, especially with the cameras that are on the truck. That just makes it that much easier. I know that we made it for many, many decades without those sort of luxuries and features and amenities, but it's nice to have it there. It's nice to have it available if you need it. Overall, a very enjoyable truck to drive and a great multitasker, especially if you're somebody who maybe lives up with a really steep driveway in an area where you get a lot of snow and ice. Well, it's going to make it easier to get up that driveway and back down. You do have your driving modes here. You have normal, you have off-road, and you have terrain. Those are the three driving modes. And like I said earlier, I'm driving in normal right now. I had somebody ask me about that based on what you see right here. I just gave away the answer if you weren't sure what it was, as to what you used to not be able to do in the past. I didn't try this on any 2022 models, but I know on the Yukons you still can't drive with the camera on like this. So kind of an interesting thing, because I did film a Yukon earlier and tried that, and it doesn't work that way. So very interesting, but this is what it is. A very enjoyable truck to drive. You definitely don't have any trouble seeing around you. You're up pretty high, and just a lot of advantages in a multitude of ways. All right, now it's your turn to talk. I've talked more than enough, I would say, and we still didn't cover every single little nook and cranny of this truck. There's so much here. We don't want to make this video too ridiculously long, so I'm going to leave a few things out. But if you have questions, ask down in the comments section. But I have a question for you. What do you think? Does this truck have the right features? Curious to know what your thoughts are on that. If this is something you plan to buy and you live in or around the Northwest Louisiana area, check out the link down in the description of the video to the Morgan Buick GMC website, and you can learn more. I have to say a special thanks to my friends at the dealership for loaning me this truck for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.